Well, everybody, I thought I'd just pop in here and do an after lunch live real quick. Say hi to everybody. I worked so hard yesterday, and it took me most of the night and most of the morning to get that video uploaded so I could post it this morning. It was so hot outside yesterday and in the house doing all that work. So I decided I'm not doing a a video outside today. I posted the one on my project a couple hours ago, and I decided to go ahead and do a spur of the moment live and see how everybody's doing. Well, it looks like I got one in chat. Let's see if I can bring up who it is. Three thumbs up, which is good. That means I've got some silent viewers. Jeanette Wilson, hello. How are you this morning or today? Trisha Whistler, hello. How are you? And I was hoping some of the other ladies would come in. Let's see. I've still got 2 people unless they've sent their addresses this morning, which I have not checked. I need Tracy B's address, and I need Miriam Mullet. Those 2 ladies need to send their address to me so I can mail them their seeds they won. Helen Costner, hello. How are you this morning? I tell you what, I checked the forecast. It's going to be anywhere from 104 to almost 108 for the next 2 weeks with no rain in sight. So I don't know. I'm about to burn up just being in the house most of the time. So I don't know what my garden's going to do. I'm trying to keep it watered the best I can, late in the evening. Yes, Tricia, I did. Thank you for that PayPal. And usually when I see that people have sent PayPals or any other type of a donation, I mention it in the videos that I post. Sometimes you might miss that because, you might not watch every second of the video, but I do try to post it. Sandra Presnell, hello, how are you? April Flowers, seemed like I just saw you a few minutes ago. Jeanette Wilson says, like mine, expect fried tomatoes. I've already picked a few stewed tomatoes off my bushes. They were already cooked by the time I picked them, so I just had to throw them away. Well, thank you, Helen Costner. I appreciate that. Always glad to get new subscribers. Yeah, I was in Helen's video a little while ago, so I watched it till she ended it. It was interesting to see Stephen's finally got power over there. Hopefully he'll get water and sewage and everything else pretty soon. Joanne Sanchez, I'm doing just fine. How are you? Yeah, I started my floor project yesterday. I said I'd been putting it off. I already had the sheet of plywood, or about a sheet and a half of plywood in the shed. And I'd been wanting to get that hallway done. So that's what I worked on yesterday, and I uploaded the video on it this morning. Or I uploaded it most of the night, and I finally got it posted mid-morning today. Slim Twiggy, hello, how are you? I've been watching you on that she shed build. Pretty interesting. I was hoping Gladys would pop in because she'd been asking me to do a live. She wanted me to do one yesterday, but I was too busy with the floor and everything else to try to go live, and I was too tired and hot. Yeah, you need to send some of that rain to me, Jeanette. We've not had rain in 2 months, and it doesn't look like we're going to get any in another 2 months or more. And I got so many pretty pictures of gardens sent in from subscribers. It makes me envious because mine started out looking that good, and then it got so hot it just started frying my plants. Oh, CB, you've been watching me lay floor? Well, I'm not done with it yet. I got it cut, it's all fitted, and it's laying, but I've not screwed it in yet. I wanted to get it all laid out and make sure I had enough for it to fit. And then I'm going to get some wood screws. So I think I got some in the shed, and I'm going to screw it down. And then I'm going to get either a vinyl or I'm thinking about that snap together paneling floor. It's the floor panels that look like wood that you can get that interlocked on your floor. I've been thinking about putting those down. I haven't gotten them yet, but we'll see. I don't know how much it will take. I'll have to figure that out. But that hallway is about 16 foot long. I haven't measured the length of it, but that one biggest sheet of plywood that I put down is 8 foot long. And you can see it, it only covered about half of the hallway. So I'll figure up how much it's going to cost and then try to decide what type of flooring I want to put on top of that plywood. But I want to do the bedrooms, the bathroom, and the hallway. Well, I got the hallway, but I got 2 bedrooms, my room and the smaller bedroom, and the bathroom floor to do off the hallway. But I don't know when I'll get around to doing that. No rain in Houston for 2 more weeks. Yeah, we're not getting any rain here for several more weeks. Don't see any rain in the forecast coming up anytime. Trisha Whistler, would you like to be a mod? I was going to ask Cynthia, since she lives in Granbury, but I haven't seen her in chat. You canned over 60 quarts of green beans, 53 quarts of tomatoes, and 21 of squash relish. Oh my God, girl, you have been busy. That sounds tremendous. I wish I had that much growing in my garden, because I haven't harvested hardly anything out of my garden this year. Everything has been cooking on the bush if it survives, or either the bush has been burning up. That's fine, Slim Twiggy. You can listen. We'll let you listen. Yeah, see, that's one reason I like to live up on this mountain, because people around me can flood, and it won't flood here. I mean, all the water drains off this mountain. There's Gladys. She showed up. Sorry about not having a live last night, Gladys, but I was too tired working on my floor all day and doing my video, then messing with the video, trying to get it uploaded and posted by this morning, and I just was not up to having a live. But yeah, Helen Costner, that sounds so good. That's a lot of food right there you just got canned. And I haven't gotten anything hardly out of my garden, very little. Handful of garlic, a handful of onions, maybe a handful of little peppers, and that's about it. Everything else is gone. I got 2 zucchini back the first of the growing season. And I did get a couple of squash, and then that was it. I know my son had one of his chickens die about 2 weeks after they got them because they had just bought chickens. They'd never had chickens put in before. But one of his died, and I know it was from the heat because it was almost 110 degrees that day. And he found one of them dead. And it was just the heat. Wow, Jeanette, that's something. I've had those squash borer bugs so bad this year. They attacked my zucchini, my pumpkin, my yellow squash, patty pan squash. They got into every one of those plants and just wiped them out. And I put insecticide on them trying to kill them, but it has not done any good. Hi, Mardell. Glad you could make it. I was just telling everybody I worked so hard on my floor yesterday that I didn't feel like doing a live yesterday. All I could think about was cleaning up my mess, taking a shower, and then becoming a couch potato. Well, my son has 3 fans in his chicken coop or his chicken house. He's got a big chicken house, but he put 3 fans in there, and then he's built them a chicken run that has a shade cloth over the top of it, so they can come out of the chicken coop and get into the little chicken run where it might be a little cooler during the day. So far, I haven't heard of any more of them dying, so hopefully that takes care of the problem. Oh, that's terrible. You had a dog that died from the heat? Yeah, it could have been the dog's heart, in that heat. And depends on the dog's age, too, Animals can't take the heat either. I mean, there's Miss Weaver. Hello, Cynthia. I was thinking about making Trisha and Cynthia Weaver a mod. I don't know if they have the time or would even want to consider it, but and I got all the seeds sent out. I got the rings sent out. But like I was saying a little earlier, let's see. I need Tracy B. Her last initial is B as in boy. And Miriam Mullet. I need their mailing addresses because I don't have their mailing address unless they sent it this morning and I haven't seen it. Well, I haven't checked this morning. Can't send the seeds out until I get a mailing address. Oh, that was a shame, Helen. I hate to hear that. Gladys said she's been dreaming of my chocolate chip cookies. A lot of humidity in Georgia, Helen says. Okay, that'd be great. I forgot about Cynthia. Miss Weaver, she's got a family reunion that she's been putting a lot of time into getting ready for it. And his mobile home life. Well, I'm glad you made one of my lives as well. Welcome. Been dreaming of my chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, it's going to be another hot one today. It's going to be too hot outside to do anything. It's going to be like another 106-degree weather day. No rain, Randy. And it's going to be like 104 to 107 every day for the next 2 weeks coming up, according to the forecast, with no rain, no possibility of rain. So you don't ever see me in the garden much anymore because I wait till after dark to get out and even take my buckets and put compost tea to my plants because it's too hot. Oh, wow. Anna's Mobile Home Life said she had a tornado watch yesterday. Wouldn't even have thought about that. Living life loving is taking the water hose and just cooling down the dirt in the chicken run. My daughter-in-law, Regina, has been freezing cubes of watermelon and cantaloupe and been putting it in trays and putting it out there to give them. But my son says, well, looks like that would hurt their beak to peck at, that frozen watermelon and cantaloupe. But she said that's what they told her in the book that was good to do for hot weather. But it's not going to stay frozen very long. Yeah, I have bird baths, and it's hard to keep water in them because the water keeps evaporating. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, say 1, 2, 3, 4 bird baths that I try to keep water in. But every time I go out there to put water in them, they're completely dry. I mean, when they're out in the sun and it's 107 degrees, it doesn't take water long to evaporate. Just dampen it, yeah. Yeah, I have bird baths. I try to keep water in them. And I have 2 bird feeders plus my hummingbird feeders. That reminds me, I need to check my bird feeders and my bird baths today to make sure they've got water in them. Yeah, it gets pretty hot. That bird bath is out in the hot sun. That water heats up to boiling real fast. Randy, I don't know. I can't think of anything offhand. A lot of times the roofers here, when it's 105 and 6 degrees outside, they'll take a break in the hottest time of the day. That's when they try to take their lunch break. And my son, he had a job roofing for a short time. And he said in the middle of the afternoon, they take a break because it's too hot on those roofs. I mean, if it's 106 degrees out there, you can imagine how hot it is up on that roof. So hot you can't stand it up there. Yeah, I love watermelon too, Gladys. I'll just be kind of glad when this heat wave is over, but I'm almost afraid to see what our winter's going to be like this winter. After our summer being so hot, we're liable to have a hellacious winter. Yep, way too hot on the roof. Every time I watch Slim Twiggy's video on her she shed, it reminds me that I've got to get out there and do some work on my greenhouse, take that old plastic and tarp off and order some new greenhouse plastic to cover it with. And I'm going to put up a little bit of a wood frame around it too, because I'm going to put on a regular door on the front of it instead of the zipper door. I'm just going to build a frame for a small door on it instead. But it's too hot to do it right now. It sits right there in that hot sun, so you can't do anything with it till the temperature cools off. Oh my God, Mardell, 61 degrees. That would feel so good if it was 61 here right now. See what it is here. It's already hit 100 degrees here where I'm at. And like I said, it's supposed to get up to about 105, 106 this afternoon. Well, that's fine, Randy. I mean, most of the time I don't schedule my lives. Sometimes I do if I'm going to do a giveaway or something, I'll schedule it. But usually I do a live at the spur of the moment, and whoever gets in, gets in. So don't feel about missing one. That's kind of what I did. I put that tarp over the top because the metal got so hot on the plastic that it melted it. So to keep the rain from coming through, I put a tarp over the top of it. And now the tarp has holes where the metal hits it up there. So I've got to do something else for it. I'm thinking about getting some 1x2s and just building it like a skeleton frame on top of the metal. That way I can affix the plastic to the wood instead of the metal, and that might help. I don't know. Yeah, you're too used to cold weather, Mardell. Well, my oldest brother, when he retired, he moved from New York to Tucson, Arizona, because he was tired of the snow and ice. He said, I'm tired of walking 3 blocks in knee-deep snow trying to get to buy groceries or something, you know. And he moved to Tucson, Arizona. The first year he lived there, they had a snowstorm. He messaged me and he said, I don't know what's going on. He said, it's snowing in Tucson, Arizona. He said, it's not supposed to snow in Tucson. I told him, I said, the snow followed you. But he likes living there. They have a swimming pool to their apartment complex and places where they can grill out and stuff like that. And, you know, most of the people that live there, he's friends with. They all get together at the pool or have cookouts together, that type of thing. So he likes it living in Tucson. I just wish he hadn't to move so far away. I mean, Texas is a big state. Arizona is a big state. So by the time you drive from my house to his house, you could drive all the way to the East Coast to where I'm from the distance it is. Yeah, I haven't completely decided exactly what I'm going to do with my greenhouse, but I've got to redo it if I use it at all. And mostly I think what I'm going to use it for is to sorry. Mostly what I think I'm going to do with it is redo it to propagate roses in. And it doesn't matter if you have a little bit of shade on the top. So we'll see. I'm not sure yet. I don't know that I'm cooking anything today, Gladys. It was too hot. I'm just going to relax and make out like a couch potato this afternoon, I think. Rest up from all the work I did yesterday. In fact, I ate the last little bit of that crock pot lasagna for lunch today. I had some of it up in the freezer, so I ate the last little bit of that for lunch. So I don't don't know that I'm going to cook anything. I might later on this evening. I don't know. Well, hi, Annie Watson. How are you? I'm sorry about that. I didn't wear my mask yesterday, and I was running the saw, plus breathing all the air. So I was gagging and sneezing and coughing, all kind of stuff when I got in the house yesterday. And it continued on through most of the night last night. So finally I put my mask back on and slept half the night with the mask on. Yeah, see, that's what I need to do is redo my greenhouse and put some kind of opening in the top that can be opened and closed. And I've seen them do that even with the plastic greenhouses like that. They make a square little flat window that can be raised up to where that heat can get out of the top, because the way these little greenhouses are, there's no opening in the top for any of that heat to to escape, and it gets hot as an oven in them things. Annie Watson, hello. Randy Rose, hello. You planted pumpkins and winter summer squash last weekend alongside some of the green onions and a few regular peppers and onions just in case we don't freeze before November 15th. Well, good for you, Randy Ross. I planted some more stuff too, and a lot of it is up about an inch high, some of it a little bit higher. And I've been trying to keep it watered, and I'm hoping it'll survive. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is a good time to start planting, because you do have the fall growing season coming up. So yeah, right now is a good time to start planting your garden. Yeah. I've even thought about getting some of those clear green colored panels. You can get like aluminum panels. You can get the clear panels that almost look like glass, and you can get them in green as well. That gives it a lot of shade. I've even thought about putting those on the top of the greenhouse, because like I said, I wanted to build an outer wooden frame that fits onto the metal, and I could possibly put some of those green panels up there, and that would help keep it shaded quite a bit. A few cabbage. You plant your fall garden in September. Yeah, but it doesn't hurt to start planting some squash, stuff like that has a shorter production span, and you can be harvesting more squash and zucchini, stuff like that, before you even plant your fall garden. Yeah, I know a lot of the pictures I've been getting, they're squash, cucumbers, zucchini, all of those plants look beautiful. And April flowers, the snow, the sunflowers, oh my God, the pictures she sent, they are amazing. Beautiful pictures. I know. I forgot to wear my mask yesterday because I had to go out to use the saw to cut the wood, and then I'd have to come back in, put it down, go back out, measure some more, cut more, and then come back in. So I was outside a lot yesterday. And like I said, I was breathing the sawdust from the saw, and I was breathing all the stuff in the air that I'm already allergic to, and I didn't even think about putting my mask on, which, that was my fault. So don't forget, any of you that have pictures of your garden or any plants that you've got growing and you want them in the video, go ahead and get them emailed to me. I've got quite a few already, but I'm waiting because, I don't want to publish the video. I'm sorry. I don't want to publish the video and then get more pictures, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and see. You can send pictures of your garden to my email address. It's hauserlinda49@gmail. It's usually in the video description, so you can find it. I know, I can't believe it either, Gladys. I got so involved in the floor and the boards and the measuring and all that, I just completely forgot about the mask. Yeah, see, that's one of my problems. It's the intense sun and heat. And then with the water restrictions, I can't water freely like I want. And I don't want to use the tap water anyway because there's so many chemicals in it right now. You can water your plants with that tap water, and most of the time the chemicals in it will evaporate up from with the steam, and it literally fries your plant. So I'm trying to keep mine stored in my containers, in my compost tea buckets and containers for several days, giving those chemicals time to get out of the water. And that's when I water my plants. But you can't water every day like that, you know. Annie Watson, it's 106 right here. Yeah, I believe it. I mean, it's only 1:30 and it's over 100. It just hit 101. And like I said, it's going to be 106 by the day's over, or 107. The hottest time of the day is about 3 or 4 o'clock. Sick with allergies, yeah. I'm not quite as sick as I was, and hopefully I don't get that bad off, but I got to remember to start, put that mask on. Because it's extremely dry this summer. Our summers have not been this bad, but it's been so dry for so long, and the intense heat has got the air full of dust particles. And the wind was blowing yesterday a little, and it was blowing this morning, and that just helps keep that dust and pollen stirred up in the air. Yeah, Annie Watson has to be careful too at 106. She's got to be real careful going outside. Annie says her account went out. Hubby going to go pick up a new one. Thank goodness it came in. Well, that's great, Gladys. If he's got some, I can't talk. If your son has some pictures of plants or garden or anything, yeah, have him send it. And I've been trying to mention everybody's name on the pictures. Even if I do a collage of pictures, I put their name on it so other viewers will know whose garden that is. I thought maybe people would like that. Helen Costner says, tomorrow my hubby and I are celebrating our 51st wedding anniversary. Well, congratulations and happy anniversary to you. Air conditioning. Yeah, you got to have air conditioning. I would die if my air conditioner would go out right now. In this heat. I'd definitely be out under a shade tree with the water hose. And I'd be sprinkling water on myself sitting outside. Yeah, that's wonderful. 51 years. That's quite a while. Most people today don't make it to 50 years, much less to 51. I know my brother that lost his wife Christmas Eve. If she was still alive, they would have been celebrating, I think, 60 some years together. Because they started dating in junior high school, and then as soon as they got out of school, and my brother was enlisted in the Army, they got married. So they were high school sweethearts, got married, and had been together all those years, 60 some years. Because I remember they celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary several years ago. Quite a few years ago. You married him when you were 16, Helen? How neat. You were young sweethearts, huh? I'm trying to watch this other chat over here because the chat keeps coming in and off on the... I put 12 by 12 concrete blocks on my greenhouse floor. I bought some every day. Took a while, but it's so easy to clean. Yeah, I couldn't afford to buy the blocks when I put my greenhouse in. So I did have enough wood chips. So I covered the floor in the greenhouse with wood chips. That way, if I was in there watering and spilt water and stuff, it would just go through the wood chips into the ground, and I wouldn't have to worry about a mess. And the wood chips works great as a floor in a greenhouse. And Helen says, it took me 8 years to have that baby I was supposed to be pregnant with. Oh no, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I got married young too, and everybody thought I was pregnant. That's why I had to get married. But I got married real young, around 16, and I didn't have my first child till I was 20. So that kind of blew that myth right out the window. It was not a shotgun wedding. I didn't get married because I was pregnant. Gladys says, Linda and Mardell, I forgot to tell you the angel that Stephen has, my son, brought me one. I had tears in my eyes. Oh, Peter Varr, hello, how are you? You still cool in the UK? It's going to be 106 or 107 here today. And it's inching on up there. It's already 101. I've not had any luck growing sweet potatoes yet. And the white potatoes I grew, some of them tried to produce, but it was too hot and dry on them, so I only got a handful of potatoes. I think the red potatoes might do better here than the white ones or the sweet potatoes, so I might try them again. I need to go visit Peter where it's cooler. I'm sweating sitting here right now, and the AC is running nonstop with the central air. I think Gladys might be talking about is it the angel that he sits on the counter that has the sparkly stuff in the bottom of it? Like in the bottom part of the dress, kind of? Is that the angel you're talking about, Gladys? Anna's mobile home life, 106, yeah. Yep, it's going to be 106 or 107 at the highest point today, about 3, 4 o'clock. Yeah, that is a pretty angel. I saw that. Or, I mean, you can't help but see it because he puts it right up on the counter most of the time. So you can't help but see it. That's a beautiful angel. Are you saying you got married when you were 16, Peter Varr? Yep, yep. 68 degrees Celsius. Oh. Any place that's a little cooler than here right now would sound really good. I remember when I worked at Lakestone Terrace, a lot of us would go in the walk-in freezer because it was so hot running around that building. Even inside where the AC was, you'd get hot. And every time we got a chance, we'd duck in that walk-in freezer for a couple of seconds just to cool off. It didn't take long. Anna's mobile home life. You're hoping to move to Florida before winter? That sounds like a nice place to live. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do another giveaway. This time it's not going to be vegetables. Not vegetable seeds. It's going to be flower seeds of my choice. Okay, I'm going to make sure I got my chat up so I can see. Connie Jones, hello, welcome. Didn't even, just happen to notice your name. But for anybody, the last video that I posted, what part of my house was I working on? I know I was working on the floor, but what part of the house? Does anybody know? These are for some flower seeds. Connie Jones got it, the hallway. And look at there, you just came in. And I don't think I've got your address, so if you'll get your mailing address to me through email, then I'll send you out some flower seeds. Yeah, Helen, it was the floor, but Connie got it first, and it was the part of floor. It was the hallway floor, not just the floor. So Connie Jones got it. The last seeds I mailed out were all vegetable seeds, but these are going to be some flower seeds. Yes, I've seen little buddy. He came in and ate him a whole can of canned food this morning. Right after I got up and came into the kitchen to fix me a cup of coffee, I heard little buddy meowing at the door. He wanted his breakfast. So I grabbed a can of cat food and opened it, dumped it in a bowl, opened the door, and he ran in. He gobbled it up, and then he was ready to go. He's got other places to be and do, after he eats. He don't hang around unless I'm out in the garden walking around, and then he'll stay around. Before the winter hits, yeah, that'd be a good idea to get moved before the weather got real bad. Get moved, get settled in. Connie is very cool. I like her a lot. She would be a great mod. Let's see. Trying to bring up my YouTube on laptop.
School lunch is a competition.
I always forget to turn the sound off. Living Life Loving says it's 68 Celsius. That's 154 degrees Fahrenheit. It can't be that hot. I just started to say 68 was a lot hotter than what Peter had been posting before. But I didn't stop to figure up how hot it would have been. I thought like 68 would have been like maybe 75, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It looks like the video's been coming through pretty good. Look how swollen my eyes are from yesterday working in all that dust. You think I would learn sometime. I mean, my eyes are burning so bad when I got up this morning I could barely open them. First thing I did before even coffee was put my allergy eye drops in my eyes to kind of help them from burning so bad. Yeah, I'm hoping that Spectrum finally got my Wi-Fi straightened out to where I don't fade in and out and everything doesn't look all blurry all the time. What part of Florida are you moving to, Anna's Mobile Home Life? Florida is beautiful. I mean, all the pictures and stuff I've seen of Florida, it's a beautiful state to live in. But I think Florida gets hurricanes worse than even North Carolina does, so I don't know. I mean, where I'm from in North Carolina is right on the coast, close to Wilmington. And of course, I lived on Oak Island just before we moved to Texas, which is right out in the ocean. And it wasn't too bad, but yeah, Florida gets a little bit worse when it comes to hurricanes than I think North Carolina does most of the time now, not all the time. And I think my chat is stopped. Yeah, my eyes look like puff bags. Normally I have lunch at 7 a.m. I have already been at work for about 5 hours. Huh. What time zone are you in, Randy Ross? If you have lunch at 7 a.m., what time do you get to work? Or are you talking about breakfast at 7 a.m.? Eastern Standard Time. So you just have a kind of a 3 a.m. So you have a long work day unless you get off early, real early in the afternoon. That's what a lot of these construction workers do. They'll start work at daylight. I mean, they are up, they've got their coffee, their breakfast by the time it hits daylight. They're already out on that construction job doing their work. They're trying to get their hours in and get their work done before mid-afternoon hits when it gets so hot. That way they don't have to work through the heat of the day. Gladys says, I'm eating. I was hungry. Well, I ate that little bit of lasagna I had left just before I started my live. So that was my lunch today. Randy Ross, 1 or 2 p.m., yeah. Because when it hits 103, 104 degrees, it's too hot for anybody to be outside working in that heat. I know when they were building the house across the street from me here, I felt so bad for those guys, but they wet their clothes. They took lots of breaks. They come in and sat under the shade trees on the side of the street, on my side of the property where the shade trees were. And, you know, they sat under the shade quite a bit off and on all day. And I don't blame them, because if they hadn't have done that, they'd have been picking themselves up off the ground. I mean, I didn't last very long out there. You know, I had to keep coming in and cooling off. It was just too hot. And I need to get the handsaw and trim up one of the pieces I cut, because I couldn't get it quite as even as I wanted on one side with that skill saw, because I couldn't hold it in place. But what I need to do is get the handsaw and see if I can even up that one side. And I'll do that before I screw that board down on the ground, on the floor, because I don't want it left to put another board up beside it later with it not being real even. Annie Watson said, I'm too old for that kind of work, 70 years. Hey, you don't have to be 70 to be too old for working out in this heat. I'm older than you, and I was out there doing it yesterday, off and on all day. I kept starting the camera and stopping it. I just hope I got it all put together and posted with it all in sequence, you know, the way I did it. Don't blame them for getting their work done early. I know, you've got to. You can't work in the middle of the afternoon like Crazy Me does sometimes, you know. It's a wonder I'm not laying in the ground out there sometimes. But like I said, I'd go out there and cut a few boards yesterday, or part of that wood, and then I'd come in the house, put it down, and then I'd cool off before I'd go back out and do any more. I had to. It was too hot. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you had a walker, Annie. Well, hi, Jody Jackson. Welcome. Yeah, you're the one. Let's see. Yeah, I got your seeds mailed out to you already. But it's Tracy B. and Miriam Mullet. Those two ladies need to send me their mailing address because I don't have it. And Connie Jones, I need her mailing address because she won the flower seeds a little while ago. That's true, Tricia. Anything can happen at our age. And you don't really have to be older for anything to happen. Oh, okay, Jody. Well, good for you. Everybody needs a nap. Okay, Connie, thanks. I'll check my email a little while, after I end this live, and I'm going to check for more pictures too. Yeah. My birthday was in May and I turned 75. I joke about it sometimes and I tell people that question my age, I said, well, I'm like fine wine. I improve with age. Yeah, a welder that starts at 3 a.m. I know my son on his job, it gets hot in that warehouse. And they have a lot of welders out there. He used to be a welder before he became boss. I'm some of that real expensive wine, y'all. I do nothing but improve with age. Don't I wish, Cat Jody. I might could find a man if I was in my 50s. I don't know that I'd want one, but May 7th. Gladys says she's 78 and she's okay with that. So, hey, I feel fortunate that I made it this far. I mean, there's so many people in this world. Babies dying every day, young toddlers dying, young children, high school kids being killed or dying of something. So, yep, I'm a Taurus. But when you reach our age, you need to consider yourself lucky because there's so many things life can throw at you that could end your life in a heartbeat. I mean, you never know from one day to the next when your last day is going to come or how you're going to go. So you just have to live life the best way you can and hope for the best. My daughter's an Aquarius, my son is a Gemini, and I'm a Taurus. Because my son was born in May, but it's the 29th of May. So that put him into being a Gemini. Oh no, Annie, you had a heart attack last 4th of July? Sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's one thing when you make it to be our age. Younger people can learn a lot. They may not want to listen to it, but you learn a lot with age. You've been through a lot every year. You learn things every year. So the older you are, most of the time, the more you know. One of my favorite things to do when I was about, maybe 10, 11, and 12, because I'd walk to school, And sometimes walking home, if it was warmer weather, I would walk through town, the extra block or so, to come through town and stop by this old feed store. Well, they had a potbelly stove in there, and in cold weather, these older people would sit around this potbelly stove and just tell old tales, how they do. But I'd go around there and I'd go in that store and I'd buy me a Pepsi or a Coca-Cola or a Sundrop. They have Sundrops in North Carolina where most people buy Mountain Dews here. And I'd go in there and get me a soft drink or soda and pull me up a chair and sit with them and just listen to them talk. You learn a lot of stuff by listening to those older people. I enjoyed the heck out of it. That was one of my favorite things to do after school, was go in that feed store and sit around with those old people and just listen to them talk. That store's not there anymore. Lori Marcus, I'm new to your channel, so I wanted to say hi, and I understand your heat as here in Florida we are about roasting too. Yeah, it gets pretty warm in Florida, but you welcome Lori. I'm glad to have you as a new sub. Glad you found my channel. Connie Jones says, that is cool. You are definitely like fine wine. Yeah, tell any of your friends or family to look up my channel, Lori. I can always use new subscribers. I said some people might say it's a ridiculous amount to reach, but my goal is set at 100,000 subscribers. And it may take me 10 years to get there. I don't know, but I hope to get there one day. The sooner the better. Yeah, I know that was not fun. No one wants to ever have a heart attack. That's why my first ex-husband died. His sister took him breakfast in the kitchen, and she left him sitting at the kitchen table eating. She went back about a half hour or so later and found him dead in the kitchen floor. He hadn't even eaten his breakfast. He had a heart attack that fast. Fell out of the chair into the floor, and that's where he was when she found him. And she said, if I could have just went over there sooner, I may have been able to get him help. But by the time I found him, he was already dead. And I said, well, don't beat yourself up over it because you don't know. Even if you found him when he was still alive, by the time help got there, they may not have been able to do anything for him. Hi, Shelley Edwards. How are you doing today? Glad to see you made it today. Just in time to give another flower giveaway. Flower seeds giveaway, that is. Okay, I made another compost tea water catchment type container. How many gallons was that container? If anybody watched the video, they should know. I told how many. Annie Watson got it, 32 gallons. I'm writing your name down so I don't forget to send you the... And I don't think I've got your address, so if you'll send me your address by email, I'll get you some flower seeds sent out to you. You're so welcome, Annie. Jody says 32, but my phone is slow. I'm sorry. But Jody's already got vegetable seeds in the mail. She should get them in a day or two. I know I was on Steven's morning show one morning, because I don't hardly ever make the morning shows. They're too early, because usually I'm up late working in the garden, past midnight most nights. So I don't get up that early to watch his coffee show, but sometimes when I have a hard time sleeping, I'll make his morning show. And I made it that one morning where he asked when he went to the auction what color shirt he had. And I said green. And I think me and the one that won it entered green at the same time. We must have hit the button at the same time because both answers popped up together. Only mine come in right below the other lady's and she won. I don't even remember what the prize was, but it's bad when that happens too. It should have been considered a tie, but it wasn't. And that's okay. Gladys says, Linda, I'm doing good with the giveaway, not one. Okay, well, I'll answer another question for some flower seeds. What color was the container? What color was the 32-gallon container? Annie Watson, black. Well, you just won flower seeds, so you've already won them. Jody came in second. Let's see. But Jody, you've already got... Jody's already won seeds. Annie's already won seeds. Not today, but you haven't even gotten them yet. Gladys said black, so I'm going to put Gladys down. I'm going to send Gladys some flower seeds. So that's 3 people that won flower seeds today. I think it kind of makes the lives a little bit more interesting, a little bit of fun when you win something. Doesn't matter how little it is. And something I could afford to mail out. So see, Gladys, you can win sometimes. Well, I've been thinking about doing that, Mardell, because I can't eat all these cookies. I just haven't been out to, because I've got to go buy the box, the box. I'm sorry. The box I mailed her other cookies in, I had to go buy the box because I don't want to put them just in a brown cardboard box. So I've got to go get a box. Or if I send them in one of the shipping boxes, I've got to put some kind of a plastic baggie or something in the box to put the cookies in. I don't know. We'll see. But I found the little box that I buy holds the cookies a lot better, and they keep them in one spot. They don't let them like bang around a lot to where they get all broken up. Yeah, Sanda Dollar Tree is where I found the box before. And that's probably where I'll go this afternoon and see if I can get another one, if they're not out of them. But they had cute little boxes in there. I said seeds, not chocolate chip cookies. Well, Gladys won the flower seeds, so. Oh, you said send Gladys. I misread it. It says send Gladys chocolate chip cookie seeds. I wish I could find some. I would send them to her. I'm glad you said something else about that because I just kind of blew right over that. I misread it. I thought you meant send her chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, I wish I could find some chocolate chip cookie seeds. I'd be planting them. Oh, that's funny. Oh. Yeah, I said that was a pretty little box. I wouldn't mind sending anything in a little box like that. It was cute. Chocolate chip cookie seeds. Oh, Lord. Can't make that up, Mardell Lamb. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, could you imagine? Oh, hi, cotton candy. Welcome. You really would have bugs in your garden with if you had chocolate chip cookie seeds. Yeah, the ants would take over. Jody says, I'm on day 3 of no smoking. Well, good for you. Because cigarettes are expensive and they're not good for you at all. Yeah, Gladys, I'm going to send you some chocolate chip cookie seeds. Well, hi, Rex. How are you? Just popped in. Glad to have you. I was watching Slim Twiggy's video the other evening and I laughed so hard I could barely type into the bar, to comment. And then the harder I'd laugh, the more I'd cough. I said, I'm a hopeless case. Yep, you can do it. I'm great here, Rex. Glad to hear that you're fine or doing fantastic. Oh, I'm not going to forget chocolate chip cookie seeds for a long time. Want to spend that money on something else. Yeah, there's a lot of food items you can plant seeds for, but wouldn't it be unreal if you could plant chocolate chip cookie seeds? But in the future, they're going to have something similar. You're not going to be planting it. But if you want a steak dinner, it's going to come in a little pill form. You put it in a rehydrator, and you end up with your steak dinner from a little pill, dehydrated pill. Now, I don't know how good that would be to eat it, but that's what the world's coming to. Yeah, anybody that can afford to drink beer, alcohol, and smoke cigarettes are doing 100% better money-wise than I am because they've got to have quite a bit more money than I live on to be able to buy that stuff. Glad I don't like steak. Well, I don't buy it very often because my stomach can't digest it that easy. But you know, when I went in the store the other day and I was just looking through the meat counter to see what they had and the prices, I couldn't believe the price on beef. I mean, steaks, roasts, they were outrageous. And a lot of them were marked down because the date was running out. People were not buying them. And they marked them down. And they had this one roast that was marked down $5. The original price was like $18, $19 because they had it marked down to it was under $13. But I didn't buy it because even almost $13 is a lot for one little hunk of meat for me. Well, yeah, I know chocolate grows on trees and wheat grows from the ground that you make flour out of. And you need chocolate and you need the flour to go in your cookies. So in a way you can grow it, but you don't grow it as a chocolate chip cookie. And vanilla beans grow because I added vanilla. So all of that stuff has to grow somehow in some form to be processed into the ingredients that we use for chocolate chip cookies. So indirectly you do plant chocolate chip cookies, I guess. Yeah, I think the price keeps going up, not down. I mean, the eggs went so high one time, I was wondering if I could even afford to buy a dozen eggs. And finally, the prices did come down on those, or they were down the last time I was in the store and bought any. I don't know where the price is on eggs now by the dozen. But it seemed like the last dozen I bought was about, I don't know, maybe $1.40 a dozen, which was a lot better than $2 or $3 a dozen, I'll tell you. Miss Weaver said she'd love a vanilla bean plant. Well, I had several avocado trees coming up from my compost, but they don't survive out here. They'll live good through the winter months, the summer months, but as soon as it gets cold weather, they die. Annie Watson sent them to my email. My email address is in each video description. It's hauserlinda49@gmail. Yeah, $1.79 for 18 eggs. Yeah, that's not quite as bad as it was for a while. I mean, here they had it almost $4 for 18 eggs at one point. I had to cut back on eggs during that time. They were too expensive to buy. But I think it was because they had something going on with the chickens. The companies that provide the eggs, there was something going on with the chickens that even the chicken prices went up. Annie says she grew one for 7 years. That's a long time for an avocado tree. Like I said, I can grow one in the summer. It'll sprout up from compost, and it'll be beautiful. But then as soon as cold weather hits, it'll die. It can't tolerate the extreme cold we have here. And I tried bringing it in the house, but I don't get enough sun in my house. And by the time I could move it back outside, it was looking pretty bad. And my greenhouse didn't stay warm enough to keep it from freezing through the winter, so. Okay, Annie, you do that. I'll check my email for my pictures and the addresses. Oh, really? The vanilla comes from a pod of an orchid plant. Orchid plant. I didn't know that. I figured it just had a vanilla bush or a vanilla tree, like avocados or olives or coffee or anything else like that. Your husband put it in the bathtub every winter? Well, see, even in my bathroom, it wouldn't get enough sun to keep it living good. I mean, it lived through the winter in the house, but it did not get enough sun for it to thrive inside. And it looked so puny by the time I put it outside. Yeah. I think orchids love humidity, like in a bathroom, like the steamy humidity from a shower. That's why a lot of people can grow some beautiful plants in their bathrooms. I've got quite a few windows in my house, but the way my house is turned, the only time I get sun is in like late afternoon, and it comes in behind my couch, and I can't put a plant behind the couch. So where the sun comes in, I can't put a plant there because I've got furniture sitting there. So the last time I checked on prices of gas, here it was like $3.19 a gallon. It was down below $2. No, down below $3 at one point. It was like $2.69, $2.79. But now it's back up to, it was like $3.19 last time I looked. I don't know what it is today. You have 55 cents gasoline tax that never goes away. Yeah, $5 a gallon for gasoline is a little bit pricey. Even at $3.19, I don't fill my tank very often. Jody says it's $3.99 in Utah. I got a cough drop in my mouth, y'all, trying to keep me from coughing. Yeah, I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, you could get 4 gallons of high test for $1. You could get 5 gallons of regular for $1. Don't we all wish we could get gasoline for that price today? I mean, just from the time I was like 9, 10 years old, 12 even, 4 and 5 gallons of gas for $1. I remember when I was a little kid, my uncle, my dad's youngest brother, who was about 19 at the time, he had his own car. And there was nothing to do really in this little hometown I lived in. So a bunch of us kids would go around and pick up those glass drink bottles, soda bottles, and we'd take them to the store and get the deposit for them. And we'd give them to my uncle, and he'd put gas in the car. And we'd ride around all weekend just fooling around with my uncle riding around in his car on that gas. And I remember we went to the drive-in theater one night with him after getting the deposit for a lot of the bottles, and we paid our way in to see that movie Gone with the Wind. That's the first movie I've ever watched that was that long. I've never in my life seen a movie that was 4 hours long, except Gone with the Wind. But you know, to us kids, as young as we were, just going to the drive-in was fun. It didn't matter what the movie was. But I thought it was a pretty good movie. Oh, well, Gladys. Your son has time to have an unstrange look on his face. I can't make a habit of sending out those cookies all the time because the postage is too expensive on them. Well, you know, Miss Weaver, we still have a drive-in theater here where I live. They show movies every week. They have the old drive-in, and they've got it fixed so when you drive in, you don't have to use that outside speaker anymore. You just turn your radio station to the channel that the movie theater broadcasts the movie over, and you hear it over your car radio. And they still have the one theater, small walk-in theater too. But they have added a 6 cinema, what do they call it? Synergy is what the name of it is, and it has like 6 or 7 theaters inside. So you can go and watch several different movies a day if you want to. Just go from one theater to the next within that building and watch your movies. Of course, you have to repay each time, but I know that there's a street, a side street that goes down by the drive-in out here, that people have a habit of going down that side street, and they'd turn their car to where they're facing the screen, and that way they could watch the movie and not have to pay to get into the drive-in, because it was just right outside the drive-in. And you know, even with using the speakers, the sound of the movie was so loud, you didn't need to, well, you could still play it over your car radio without paying to see the movie. But they did that all the time. And they've got to the place now, instead of paying per person to get in, you pay by the carload. And I remember when I was in school, or when my kids were in school, my daughter and my son would tell me all the time, and they'd laugh about it. They said, "Mom, I can't believe so-and-so went to the drive-in last night, and they packed the car full of kids, and then they filled the trunk full of kids. And they got in for just one carload. And when they got in the theater, they opened the trunk, and the kids just piled out of the trunk." I said, leave it to kids to think up of all kind of things. Bardell, sorry, meant to finish with too many pockets to fill with money on its way to us. See, that's one good thing about them doing it where you can listen to the movie through your radio, is because you can keep your windows up. Of course, if it's real cold weather, you'd have to keep your heater running to stay comfortable. But if it was raining, you know, you wouldn't have to keep your windows down if it was hot weather. You could roll your windows up, and the rain wouldn't come in. Yeah, they advertise the drive-in here all the time. It's trying to bring tourists into the town. They advertise the old-timey drive-in and the opera house and all kind of stuff, you know, that they had years and years ago. And it's a neat thing to do, because a lot of the kids like to go in their parents' pickup, and they back the pickup in backwards, you know, to where the tailgate is facing the screen. And then they put lawn chairs up in the back of the truck and sit up there in their lounge chairs. Sometimes the kids will just sit on the tailgate. I've even seen one couple out there with kids they had a small grill sitting on the back of their truck. And they were sitting there watching the movie, and they were grilling out hamburgers. That's the way to do it if you got a big family, a bunch of kids to feed hamburgers. You can't afford to buy them. I mean, already made. That the price is outrageous. Oh, well, has everybody been having as good a time as I've had in this live chat today? I think I've laughed through the whole chat. Gladys says, I used to go to the drive-in and kiss my boyfriend and never watch the movie. I've done that a few times too. And in the wintertime when you're in there and you got those windows rolled up, remember how foggy your windows got? Chat did. Well, you're welcome, April. I'm just glad you could make it to chat today since I didn't advertise it. I didn't let anybody know that I was going to do it. Yeah, Gladys was a wild woman. Chat made my day. Well, I'm glad it did, Annie Watson. Well, I think I'm going to call it a video. I don't know how long we've been on here. It says 92 minutes, something like that. It's about an hour and a half. Gladys says, Linda, the chat was happy. Well, I hope all my chats are happy because I like for it to make people's, uplift your day, to get in chat, laugh a little bit, joke around, cut up, have a good time. And it makes you feel better the rest of the day. So don't forget, laughter is great medicine, the best. Yeah, it is, Connie. Laughter is the best medicine. Time flies when you're having fun. Yeah, it does. And Cotton Candy says, I never made it to the drive-in. Went to Lake Woohoo. I bet you did have a good time at Lake Woohoo. Marilyn McClintock. Yeah, I got her. I know where I remembered her name from is I got her pictures that she sent me. Marilyn did, and they were some pretty pictures. Hi, Marilyn. How are you? You just popping in. We've been having a good time. I've been laughing, and I am just wet with sweat. Just from laughing, and it's hot. Whew. I don't know what the temperature is in this house, but my central air unit has been running nonstop, and it shows that it's 102 outside, so. Well, like I said, when my daughter was a teenager in high school, their kids' famous hangout was the marina, where I took y'all on one of my videos and showed you where they put in the convention center. Well, where that convention center is sitting is where the old marina used to be, and the boat ramp right beside it. Well, a lot of times after school or on weekends, that was the kids' hangout. They'd go hang out at the city beach and hang out at the marina. Because, I mean, the city beach was there, but it wasn't like it is today. They didn't have all the sand hauled in, and they didn't have it as nice as it was back when my daughter was in school. When my daughter was in school, there was grass all the way up to the water's edge. Today, they put in sand. So the whole beach area is sandy. They've got the tiki huts up there. They got little raft rentals. They got bike rentals, all kind of stuff. And they have the showers put in now, and they never had those before. So yeah, they call the middle of the road going through town, which is Pearl Street, they call that the Strip. And then the marina was their hangout. And I'm guilty of taking my daughter for a cruise down the Strip many a night. I shouldn't tell you this, but we got laughing and cutting up at home one night. We were ready for bed. Our hair was in rollers. We had on those baby doll pajamas. I don't know if any of you remember those, but they called them baby doll pajamas. Well, my daughter and I both had on our baby doll pajamas. And she said something about the Strip. And I said, well, let's go. She says, Mom, we're not dressed. I said, it don't matter. We're not getting out of the car. So we got in my car and we cruised down the Strip, went to the marina and circled and come back home. I said we were lucky that the car didn't break down. I said, wouldn't that have been a sight to have to get the cops there to help you, and your hair's up in rollers and your baby doll pajamas ready for bed? Jody says, I remember baby doll pajamas. I don't think they make them anymore, but they were fun to wear. I mean, the little short pants and the little top, they were great to wear in the summertime. Gladys says, I remember it well, baby. Yeah. And you know, then everybody had their rollers set after they shampooed their hair. I don't know how in the world we ever slept in those big rollers. But I'd sleep in those rollers some nights and get up in the morning, take the rollers out and brush my hair out. It always looked good. Sometimes it wasn't easy to sleep on those things. Yeah, I always told my daughter, I said, doing crazy stuff like that, and it was innocent, you know, it wasn't hurting nobody. I said doing innocent stuff like that was making memories. Well, we're up to 27 now, and I was almost thinking about ending my live, so I hate for people to jump in and then end the live right after they jump in the chat. Yeah, if I could think about it long enough and hard enough, I could probably come up with a lot of little memories like the baby doll pajama incident. We did a lot of little crazy stuff. I mean, my daughter, she laughed. She said, Mom, I can't believe we're doing this. We're literally riding the Strip and going to the marina, the hangout, in baby doll pajamas and hair rollers. Okay, but I don't know what other question to ask. What can I ask? What was the last dish that I cooked using ramen noodles? A ramen noodle pack. And this is for flower seeds. It wasn't that long ago, just a few days ago. Mac and cheese with sausage. Yep, cotton candy. 50 full, got it. So cotton candy, send me your mailing address. And I'll get your flower seeds out to you. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people that have won flower seeds today. Yeah, cotton candy got it correct. It was mac and cheese with sausage. That's what I had for dinner that night when I didn't plan on making the video, and I said, "You know what? Probably people don't know, have not even thought about making mac and cheese with ramen noodles." So I decided at the last minute to go ahead and video it. So I videoed it and posted it. Jody says, I was in the kitchen getting watermelon. I don't have a watermelon. I need to get me a watermelon because I love watermelon. I bought one the very first of the summer, and I haven't bought another one, but I need to get one. Gladys says, I knew it, but I already won. Yeah. Yeah, if I just mailed you seeds and you won seeds in the chat today, you can't win again today. Jody says, I have eaten many ramen, plus it has MSG. Yeah, that's true, and I try not to eat it all the time. But, there's a lot of people that eat a lot of ramen noodles because it's inexpensive food and that's all they can afford. And I know when my son first started out on his own, he ate a lot of ramen noodles. In fact, there was times he didn't even have ramen noodles. And I wasn't doing very well. I didn't have very much income coming in, so I couldn't help him very much at all. I could barely even keep the cheapest food in my house to feed myself. And you can learn to use the ramen noodles and just not use that seasoning packet. The season packet has a lot of that MSG in it, the salt and all the other stuff. So you can buy just the ramen packet and use the noodles for your dishes. Or you can learn the different recipes to use the noodles for and maybe substitute those noodles with rice noodles. I think the rice noodles are a little bit more healthier for you than the other ones. But like I said, some people, that's all they can afford is ramen noodles. And some of them are lucky they can even get that, so. Yeah, Jody, that's me. I've never had a lot of money, never will. I don't ever expect I'll win the lottery or anything like that. I don't have a rich uncle that's going to die and leave me a lot of money, so I'm not counting on it. I have to count every penny that I spend. Money's always been tight. I wonder from one month to the other, am I going to pay my electric bill? No telling how much it's going to be this month. It was almost $300 last month. That's one reason I don't give away tons and tons of giveaways, because I can't afford the postage. So, but the seeds, if you're in the States or Hawaii, it only takes a couple of stamps to put on an envelope and mail them. So, and I already have the seeds, so it's not costing me a lot to send those. Yeah, I mean, that's it. A lot of these young people just starting out, they don't have the money to buy a lot of food. So I know a lot of them eat a lot of ramen noodles. So any different ways that you can fix them, I'm sure they are appreciating. Because you get tired of just eating ramen noodle soup or beef ramen soup or oriental ramen soup. You like to spice it up and put something else in it or make it a little bit different. Yeah, that's right. You just have to live within your means. And that's what some people don't understand. Some people have money just flowing in. They don't ever have to worry about money. They don't have a clue. They don't understand people like Jody and me and a lot of other people that struggle from month to month. And, you know, you have to really watch the money you spend on food and everything else. You have to buy the cheaper cuts of meat if you can afford to buy the meat at all. And that's one reason I didn't mind starting my cooking part of my videos, so people could see, you know, you can still eat decent food and good healthy food. Buy the cheaper cuts of meat, you know. Buy the ramen noodles. Don't put all the season packet in it. Maybe only use half of it. Add meat. Add different things, like I did the mac and cheese and sausage. You know, the only time I used that season packet was to boil the noodles, and then I poured the liquid off of those noodles. So most of the salt and the other stuff left the pot. A little bit it stayed in that seasoned the noodles a little bit, but not a whole lot. But that's one reason I started doing that. And people said, well, she needs to cook something other than just chicken quarters and ramen noodles and these really cheap, inexpensive dishes. But, you know, that's why I do it, is because there's a lot of young people starting out. There's a lot of people that can't afford to buy a lot of groceries. And they love to watch the videos, and it gives them ideas of meals that they can cook for themselves that's not going to cost them a lot of money to cook. Cheaper cuts of meat can be marinated to become tender. And you're exactly right, Connie Jones. You can buy the cheaper cuts, marinate them, even in lemon juice or something like that, that, you know, tenderizes it. Some cuts of meat, the cheaper cuts of the beef that you can make cube steak out of, you can tenderize it with a meat mallet. Just beat it up and tenderize it that way, and it's good. I mean, when my ex was bringing in deer meat, venison, and stuff like that all the time, I made country steak out of venison, and I'd chop it up or tenderize it with a mallet, fry that stuff up, make the brown gravy, and that was just as good as any beef you'd ever buy. I haven't had a bunch of venison like that probably since I was divorced. So I don't have the meat to do that anymore. Yeah, baking soda tenderizes. And one guy said he loved my video when I cooked my cube steak, because I was telling them that they could take the venison, you know, pieces of lean venison meat, and tenderize it just like you do the country steak, the beef, and cook it the same way, flour it, fry it, make your brown gravy, and it would be better than beef. And they tried it, and he said, man, that's about the only way my wife's going to cook venison anymore, is to make country steak out of it, because that stuff is good. Yeah, I have one daughter and I've got one son, so I've got 2 children. My daughter's the oldest. She was born in January of that year, and I'll turn 20 that May. So I was still 19 and a half maybe when she was born. So I can always remember her exact age. I just think of my age and I subtract 20 years, and that's how old she is. And my son is about right at 6 years younger than she is. Okay, well, I don't want to drag out my live video. I don't want to bore y'all to tears. Who just come in? Oh, Vicky Downs. What was it I was going to ask you about? Don't even remember now. It was something about Vicky that I was going to ask. I don't remember now. I didn't write it down. You missed the flower seeds giveaway. I gave away 1, 2, 3, 4 packages of flower seeds so far. Vicky says, I have one son that comes to see me each morning, so I make his breakfast. I have 3 sons and 1 daughter. Well, good for you. Well, my son and daughter live over an hour away from me, so I don't get to see them every day. Why not? You didn't want flower seeds, Vicky? Well, that makes me feel better. Do another before you go? Oh, God. I got to come up with questions. Let me see. I got to start getting more people in chat to do this many giveaways. Miriam Mullet's in here. You're one of the ones. Miriam, if you have not sent me your mailing address, I need your mailing address. As of last night, I had not gotten it yet. I'll have to check, but as of last night, Miriam, I had not gotten your address. But I'll check again. I needed Tracy B. And I don't think she's been in chat today. And Miriam, I needed both of your mailing addresses. Because I got the other seeds mailed out, but I was waiting for your address. So. Okay, I got one, and this was just 3 days ago. Get back to my chat because I don't want to miss the first one coming in. I fixed rice 2 or 3 days ago. What kind of rice was it? First one that pops in with the correct answer gets flower seeds. Yellow, Jody Jackson. Okay, Jody, I'll send you some flower seeds. That's all the giveaways for today. Cotton Candy says, I know it. Well, you should have got in before Jody did. She popped it in the first time, and I said the first one that got the correct answer wins, so. And Cotton Candy, you've already won flower seeds today in this chat. So you haven't missed out. You're still going to get seeds. Yeah, I know you already won. Well, guys, it's been fun. I've enjoyed hanging out with y'all, joking, cutting up, carrying on with you. I wish I could do it all day long, but I got other things I need to do, and I'm sure you got other things to do. So, if you have not gotten your mailing address to me, please email it to me so I can get these seeds mailed out to you. Yeah, love and hugs, Jody. Please tell all your friends, your family to catch my videos, like, share, and subscribe to my videos. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye now. Love y'all.